6 o'clock. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Town Council meeting for April 16th at the DeLeo Senior Center. Councilman Corey, would you lead us with the pledge of allegiance?
Yes, sir. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the roll call, please.
Counselor Ingman. Counselor Callow. Counselor Christopher.
Here.
Counselor Von Cory.
Here.
Counselor Sordo.
Here.
Counselor Perino.
Here.
Counselor Conti.
Present.
Vice President Lettieri.
Here.
President Vecchio.
Present.
Thank you.
I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the April 2nd, 2019 council meeting.
Motion to approve. Second.
Second, any discussion of the motion?
Abstain.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? We have one abstention. Public comment? No public comment? Please.
I'm Jean Coffin, Precinct 5. Just wanted to do just a little update with all of you. You probably already heard at Planning Board last week, L&E, Building Inspector, Commissioner, made a ruling that came down about the question that we had on our houses in the fall. He was at a meeting with us also. And so it was the answer we kind of knew all along, us as homeowners knew, that it was 2.5 stories, 35 feet next to a residence is what the bill would go. So I guess I'm here tonight to ask if there's any further information on the maps or things that were going to be in the works.
We'll have the town manager cover it in his meeting if there's an update, okay? It is report. Okay? Any further comments? Hearing none. Public hearings, we have 3 of them. The first one is the town council transfers $35,000 from the reserve fund appropriation to the police department budget union negotiations. Does anybody wish to be heard? Councils wish to be heard?
Council President, Council Finance Subcommittee met earlier this evening and approved and recommended positive action on this motion.
Any further discussion? We'll close out that hearing. Next hearing is to transfer $30,000 from the reserve fund appropriation to DPW Department budget union negotiation. Anyone wish to be heard? Hearing none, councilors?
Council President, the Council Finance Subcommittee met earlier this evening on this issue and recommended positive action.
Okay. Any further discussion, comments, or questions? We'll close out that hearing. Last public hearing is to transfer $25,800 from the town council reserve to fund a special article in the general fund to be named CBD peer review. Does anyone wish to be heard? Anyone from the council?
Council President, the Council Subcommittee on Finance met earlier on this issue, and it is going to the council without a recommendation from the subcommittee.
Okay. Anyone else wish to be heard? Hearing none, we'll close out that public hearing as well. There are no correspondence. Committee reports. We'll forego finance under to old business. How about Middlefield Committee?
Middlefield did not meet since our prior committee.
Okay. Precinct 2 neighborhood meeting?
Precinct 2, I had a neighborhood meeting last Monday night, April 8th. The topics of discussion were vast, but the major items that were issues of concerned the middle school site, between development and leaving it an open space, also Ingleside Park and flooding and drainage, Morton Street, including drainage as well as sidewalk repair on Morton Street, hopefully, and in the Douglas Street area. Also, there was discussion of regionalization of not just police and fire, but regionalization of, if there's a possibility of regionalization of other departments in the town. It's well attended. I thank the residents. It's always nice to hear from the constituents, and there will be another precinct meeting next month, and I will keep you up to date as to date and time.
Okay. Thank you. Town manager's report.
Sure. So briefly, street sweeping begins next week. and they will go from April through October, 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. on the day of streets trash collection. Gets bumped back a day if there's a holiday in the week. The ferry begins its season on Monday as well. Tangi is hard at work on that. We already have some charters booked, and tickets are already on sale. Concerning the regionalization of services that you were speaking out, Councilor Lettieri, my office has been in contact with MAPC concerning feasibility of the regionalization of certain services with Chelsea and Revere. Initially, we're looking at energy and environmental related things, but we very much are kind of putting some broad language in there that we could expand upon that if it becomes both feasible and successful in the longer term. So I am always looking for additional opportunities for regionalization that are effective and efficient for the community. What else do I have? The forum is tonight in a little bit, and that is all from my office for my manager's report this week.
I was wondering if the assistant town manager could give us an update on the map process, that whole...
Can we actually save that for the forum? That's one of the slides on the forum that we're going to jump into that
You
as
guys be
well.
at the forum?
Okay, thank you.
Also, I received a request to know about an update relative to the siting of the dog park at DPW, adjacent to DPW. I guess we're doing some research and so forth.
Yeah, we're reaching out, we're having town attorney do a full title report on the site that was preferred by the council, just to ensure we're doing some baseline work now, to ensure that everything's in line. There are some issues finding the actual title because of how the property came to the town. We spoke with town attorney this afternoon about that issue. We're powering through those issues, and if that is clear, then we'll move on to the feasibility of an environmental study from there before the final step of doing an engineering feasibility study as well. So we are progressing, doing our best to push through the issues, to make sure that we're all clear and do the due diligence on behalf of the town to make sure that the site is clear.
Thank you. Okay, school committee update. The superintendent presented her proposed fiscal FY 2020 needs and level service budgets for the Winthrop School District at the April 8th school committee meeting. The athletic subcommittee reported out on recommended fees for cross-country, outdoor track, and wrestling. Buildings and Grounds subcommittee is currently working on a new rental fee schedule for the rental of Miller's Field for profits and non-profit organizations. Okay, old business. I will call on the Chair of Finance.
Thank you, Council President. I'd like to make a motion that move that the town council vote to transfer $35,000 from salary reserve to police department budget to cover the costs associated with the recent union agreement or take any other action relative thereto.
Okay, the motion's out of Finance, recommended. Any discussion on the motion?
Council President?
Yes, sir.
I'm wondering on this, approximately how much of an increase is this to the specific union? It's $35,000. Do we have a percentage figure?
Sure.
The percentage figure is 1.5%, and this is retroactive to July 1st. This is for fiscal year 2019, fiscal year 19. So this brings them from July 1st, 2018 through June 30th, 2019.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none. Take a roll call, please.
Councilor Inman, Councilor Callow, Councilor Christopher, Councilor Boncory,
Yes.
Councilor Luzardo,
Yes.
Councilor Farino,
Abstain.
Councilor Conti,
Yes.
Vice President Lettieri,
Yes.
President Vecchio.
Yes.
Thank you. Passes.
Council President, I move that the town council transfer $30,000 from the reserve to the DPW department budget for the purposes of funding and negotiating union contract or take any other action relative thereto.
It's out of committee with a recommended vote. Any discussion on the motion?
Council President, this also reflects a 1.5% increase for the DPW retroactive to July 1st, 2018. Contract for a one-year contract, which will bring them through June 30th, 2019.
Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, I'll call for a roll call vote, please.
Callow, Council Christopher.
Yes.
Council Boncory.
Yes.
Council Lucerto.
Yes.
Council Farino.
Yes.
Council LaConte.
Yes.
Vice President Lettieri.
Yes.
President Vecchio.
Yes.
Thank you.
Council Terry.
Council President, I move that the town council transfer $25,800 from town council reserve to fund a special article in general fund to be named CBD peer review or take any other action relative thereto.
Can you give the councilors just an overview of this?
Sure, this was an item that was requested by a councilor when the council voted for the center infrastructure project. It was approved by the council without an authorization or a cap on money, and this was, it was a peer review to make sure that the peer review that was done prior was done correctly and in accordance with all the rules. I would ask, you might want to ask DPW director for a better explanation of what was done and how it was done and the effects of it.
Chair recognizes Steve Callow.
So, yeah, it was a utility peer review. It was to make sure that all the pipes were sized properly for all three utilities, to make sure that there were no utility conflicts that would potentially be change orders and add money to the project going forward. It was performed by Western and Sampson, came back with very minor recommendations, which have all been included in the bid set.
Okay, this is out of committee with no recommendation. I'll need a second.
Second.
Second. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, take a roll call, please.
Council Kingman, Council Callow, Council Christopher. Council Boncory.
Yes.
Council Lucerto.
Abstain.
Council Farino.
Yes.
Council LaConte.
Yes.
Vice President Lettieri.
Abstain.
President Vecchio.
Yes.
Four. Passes four to three.
Does that need 5? Does that need a majority of the council, just to make sure?
What? Yes. There's 3 abstains.
My understanding is, from talking to the State Ethics Commission, my understanding is that if there was an urgent requirement, if someone that did abstain wanted to vote in the affirmative, they can do so. I am still going to abstain. But it's Council Christopher or Council Lucerto. We do have authorization that if out of necessity, they can vote if they wish to vote in the affirmative.
Council Christopher is going to change his vote. Okay? Passes.
Passes, yeah.
New business, town council accept MGL 100B. This is a technical glitch when we voted for this several months ago. We just have to re-vote it. It says due to a technical error, the local acceptance of MGL 41-100B is being resubmitted to the town council for their consideration and reacceptance. There is no material or substantive difference between the acceptance passed by the council on February 5th, 2019. The motion is by town manager. I move that the town council issue the following order: that the town of Winthrop hereby accepts the provisions of Massachusetts General Law 41-100B to provide for the indemnification of eligible retired police officers and firefighters. Do I have a second?
This issue came before the Rules and Ordinance Committee back some months ago, and the Rules and Ordinance Committee recommended passing of this.
Okay, so it doesn't need a second. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, I'll take a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. Public comment. No public comment? Remember, when we go into the next part of this evening, the spring forum, it is relative to the budget. So if it's not about the budget and you want to speak about an item, you should do it now. There we go. Yes. I know what I should have.
I see a great, precinct 5, Nick Siotis,
I just want to follow up on, I know the council appropriated $30,000 to look into the ordinances and various other things involved with the CBD. Assistant Town Manager Rodriguez in the last meeting pointed out that one thing that he had never seen before in any type of ordinances he had worked with is the $2,000 public spot. You had never seen that. And to us, we've been talking about this for a long time. And that's kind of an example of why we should revisit these ordinances. I'm hoping that the public, especially the neighbors and the abutters, some of them who are here tonight, can at some point, before you make a decision, sit down with you and let you know what our thoughts are. Obviously, we're not obstructionists by any means, but we'd like to have some type of level playing field here. And I think there's been a lot of comments in the last 3 years, especially the last 2 years, relative to the development of Winthrop Center. You've seen a lot of comments that say that the center is a very congested area right now, and it's perhaps becoming even more congested. And once one development goes up, this is not theory, this will be fact. Once one more goes up, you'll have to have another one, another one, another one, another one after that. So you have the possibility of bringing into the Winthrop Center and the abutters and the neighbors approximately maybe between 200 new cars, and there are a lot of factors to factor into that. I hope that the public out there can go to the town website and look at the neighborhood proposal and see the stance of the neighbors. Obviously, the town council is doing their due diligence, but they also have a charge from us as constituents to make sure that they safeguard the quality of life of all their neighbors, residents, people who have come to bat and have voted for every single councilor out there. And I hope the council can find it, to have some sympathetic understanding for us, because this is going to really impact us. And both the new town manager and the assistant town manager know that there was no real impact study on this that was done. And we want you all to try to do your best to, in some way, bring this all together so there's some type of compromise reached between the developers, the neighbors, the town council, and as well as the taxpayers. And obviously, we do need revenue, and we're all aware of that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nick. Anyone else wish to be heard? Yes.
Council President, I'd like to, out of finance, I'd like to make a motion that the council suspend council rules, have a special council meeting next Tuesday, April 23rd at 6 p.m. with one single item on the agenda being the formal submission and acceptance of the fiscal 20 budget. This is more in accordance with the charter. If you go through section 7.4 through section 7.8, it talks about clear, defined timelines and everything else. So this will put us right where we want to be. So we do need to have a special meeting. So I would ask for a special meeting next Tuesday, April 23rd at 6 p.m. with a single item on the agenda being formal submission and acceptance of the fiscal 20 budget.
Motion has been made. Do I hear a second? Second on the motion. Discussion on the motion.
Who seconded that? Who seconded?
Michael. Yes, sir.
Council President, just to get some clarity,
I was waiting for you.
so this is just sort of a formality?
The charter states that the council, the town manager must submit formally to the council no later than 60 days prior to July 1st, the new fiscal year.
Once that formal submission is accepted by the council, the clock starts running for 45 days. So once it is formally accepted, the town manager will have a summary printed, advertised in the paper. The town council next Tuesday night will then ask for a public hearing, which would take place at our following council meeting, which would be May 7th, and that will be asked next week. So that has to be within a 7 to 14-day time period. And then that will give us until the end of June to vote on a formal budget.
So when you say accept, you sort of mean we receive it and
We
accept
received it and
not
accepted,
approve.
not that we approved it. No,
Thank you
not
for that
approval.
clarification.
Acceptance.
Sounds good, thank you.
Any further discussion? Okay, we'll take a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. Okay. Public relations, the Precinct 1 neighborhood meeting will be held on May 1st at 7 PM at the E.B. Newton Lyceum Room. Entertain a motion to adjourn?
Second.
We're going to adjourn to the next meeting, correct?
Yes.
Or is that part of this meeting?
No, we scheduled that for 7.
That's what I thought. I was-
Councilor Serta first, Councilor Terry second.
Okay. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it.